Hey guys, it is Maria Park. Thank you for my impromptu live stream that I'm doing on my lunch break. I do have a work call at 3, so this is why this could only be about an hour to an hour and a half ish today. So a lot has been happening in the CW world. Honestly, guys, I'm beginning to think that working for the CW is more drama off screen than on because every time we turn around, there is something else happening. So let's talk about the latest. And I say latest because quite frankly, I haven't checked a couple of hours ago because there may be something else now. But let's talk about the latest thing going on in the controversy of the CW universe. And that is fans are calling out Danielle Panabaker for being racist and asking the CW network to fire her from The Flash. So I don't have any facts on this. I'm only going by opinion, but I need to disclaimer this. I've always been of the opinion that shipping is kind of toxic. You can have a ship, but when you attack others because of your ship, that is a problem. And I know with these two women specifically, the West Allens and the Snowberry fans are a little crazy. So, I mean, I haven't seen this level of toxicity since the whole Harry Potter days with Harry and Hermione versus Harry and Ginny lovers or shippers. It's the same thing. So, okay, so let's just talk about. I have questions, but let's talk about what people are saying. So people are saying some things about Danielle kind of baiting the Snowberries into attacking Candace. Now, I don't know anything about that. I personally have not seen that. Again, I have not been looking because I personally think all of this stuff is stupid. But I will say this, and I've never been shy of saying that my personal opinion, this is mine, I don't like the character Caitlin Snow on The Flash. And that's only because I do think there's kind of some disparity in writing. Caitlin kind of got a lot of the focus, especially from the first season on. Now, to be fair, she was the only one besides Cisco and Wells that knew that Barry was the Flash. But even up to now, promos, she has a lot of promos, a lot of publicity by the CW. In Crisis on Infinite Earth, the very last episode, Barry was with Caitlin and not his wife, watching the news with Lex Luthor being president. So I know this is not on the actress. This is actually on the writer's room and the showrunner at the time and the CW as a whole. They did not do a good job of really establishing who the leading lady of The Flash actually is. So that's more on them, though. That's not on Danielle. But what's interesting is, so okay, let's just say it. When Iris was cast as Black, there was a lot of negative feedback. There were a lot of fans that were not happy. Now, to be fair, this is not just an Irish thing. Whenever a gender or race is switched in a comic book, or a book series or anything that you love the original of and you are that OG fan, sometimes you kind of lose your mind a little bit and you're like, that's not who I envisioned this person to be. Or, Iris was a redhead and was always white for years and now you made her Black. My life is over. So sometimes you get a little cray-cray over this. And I'm not saying you, I'm saying fandom wise that people that do this. Because if you actually peruse a lot of the YouTube videos back when The Flash first started, I have seen a lot of racist stuff just because they hired a Black actress. It wasn't even just Candace specifically. And so there was a lot of hate and there were a lot of people saying that Danielle Panabaker should have been Iris West. And see, I think quite frankly, that might be some of the problem. The problem actually is the network itself did not come out and say, hey, this is our casting shot, but I've seen, this is our casting choice. We don't think it matters what race Iris is as long as she does a good job. They wanted Joe West. They wanted the actor for Joe West to come in and take this role. Well, if they cast Joe West as Black, obviously they have to cast Iris West as Black or biracial like me, only not as light as me, obviously. So it made sense to make Iris West, black. They didn't initially go into this saying, hey, we're going to make this character black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. It was literally they wanted this actor to play Joe West. I do believe they even specified in an interview, and you'll have to follow up and look this up yourself, that they hired him before they even casted his daughter. So that's not Candace's fault. It's not Danielle's fault. It is a network decision, but I will say the network should have said something when she started getting a lot of hate, because she did. I did see it. I actually did see, I was on boards like Superhero Hype, Comic Lovers, all these boards in YouTube channels were going crazy over Iris being black. And I thought that was insane. So, but again, nothing new. Okay, so, and to kind of stay in with that, I don't know how to feel about this. So I have questions. So the two actresses, I did a lot of research when I saw this was happening. They don't follow each other on social media. They aren't in each other's pictures. They don't seem to be friends. I don't think they get along, but I'm only speculating because I don't work on the series. I'm not on the set with these people. I don't know. I did find it interesting that Grant Gustin put out on his social media, because Candace was getting a lot of racist stuff that she wasn't even talking about, I guess got to him. And so he got on his social media and was saying things like, our Iris is black. She's a beautiful actress, a beautiful person, and she's always going to be our Iris, and me and Iris are endgame, yada, yada, yada. And I just thought it's really sad that he had to do that. But then I looked and I'm like, I didn't really see that kind of support from anybody else. So honestly, guys, I don't know what's happening on the set of The Flash. I mean, I don't know. I really don't. Do I think it's odd that these two women don't follow each other, and that some of the scenes in The Flash are specifically written where they don't really interact a lot? Yeah. For a television cast that started from the first season, that is very odd. Do I think that Danielle Panabaker possibly, and I say possibly, should not have put herself in a position to be called a racist by maybe saying, hey, our Candace is, our Iris is black, that's cool, yada, yada, yada? Probably. She probably should have said something long before now, only because I know that the actress herself is like an activist. I saw on her Instagram specifically that she is into a lot of really good charities and causes. But none of them until recently had anything to do with like Black Lives Matter, which I thought was interesting, but doesn't have to, I'm just saying. But I will say this, some of the interviews, which can be taken and construed as her being racist, or of people just being in the cancel culture, because it can go either way, honestly. But some of the interviews where people ask her about her Snowberry following, which is the Rabid Ship group. And she basically says, I think it would be cute. Barry and Caitlin have a connection, and for now they're friends. It's her wording choice. Now, this actress probably meant nothing by it. She's just swept up in the moment. She's got people that are actually like following her and, want her, character to do well. So it could just be a slip of the tongue. She does this a lot. She does talk about pro Snowberry stuff a lot. And as a voice actor, I have always learned, especially when it comes to like anime couplings, you kind of tend to stray away from that, like at conventions and panels and things, because you don't want to have that reputation of, or putting out that you support something over the other, because people will take what you say and they will run with it. So do I think she put herself in a position to basically have to figure out how to defend herself now? A little bit. She should have known better than to stray away from all topics of that conversation. She should have been like, I'm flattered. I'm glad that you idolize me. I'm glad that you think that me and Barry make a cute couple. But our pairing in this show is Iris and Barry. It has nothing to do with a West Island group. It has nothing to do with a Snowberry group. This is just the writing. This is what has happened in the comics. As a matter of fact, my character was a villain in the Batman universe. I am actually recreated for The Flash. So yada, and moved on. But she did kind of poke it a little bit and say things like, she would love to see where their relationship would go, stuff like that. And I'm like, as an actor, I know that she probably regrets that now, but you may have kind of thrown some fire onto the flames with some very cray-cray people. Because some people can't separate real life from, fiction. They cannot suspend. They can't suspend any of their disbelief. So when if you're saying, oh, I think that Barry and Caitlin should be together, there's those crazy fans out there. I'm like, Iris must die. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I will say also, the CW is really getting hammered. I don't know if you guys have read about Vanessa Morgan. She plays Tony on Riverdale. She recently posted that she's unhappy with the basic inequality between black actors and white actors on, especially, she kind of made it seem like it was also her show, and I'll get into that in a second. But she says that, there's a lot of one-dimensional stereotypical roles that are written, and there's like a wage disparity where they get paid lesser than their white counterparts. I can't say that's inaccurate. I don't work for the CW, but I will say this. The showrunner for the show, and his name went out of my head, he actually posted an apology on Instagram saying we're going to do better and it needs to start in the writer's room. So I'm like, he almost validated what she was saying was going on at the CW network. So that is also extremely flipping messed up if that is true. So that it makes you question all kinds of things. Look at Iris West in The Flash. Her writing sucks. Her writing is sucky. Compared to Caitlin, Cisco, everybody else, Iris has been portrayed the worst out of everybody in that series. And the actress, Candace Patton herself, wanted to be the reporter that, Lois Lane is to Superman. But they let her dabble with journalism. Then they made her the leader of the team without any science knowledge. She got lots of hate for that. Then they had her, recently she's all mirror-versed and crap. So it's her writing is flipping horrible. It's flipping horrible. So I kind of blame the writing room, the writers, the showrunners, the CW network. I kind of feel like that's pretty much the ground roots of what's happening. I don't know Danielle Panabaker from Adam. I don't. I mean, she was in a movie I like, Sky High. I love that movie. I don't like her as Caitlin. I just don't. Well, I don't like Caitlin. I don't like the character that she portrays. I just don't. That has nothing to do with the actress. I just don't like the character. However, I don't know if this cancel culture thing is really what we need right now. Because we're going to end up with no one on television. I'm just going to be real with you. Because, I don't know if we can 100% hold Danielle Panabaker accountable and call her a racist when we don't have, unless somebody knows something I don't, unless you show me a tweet, unless you show me a post or a video where she just says, I can't believe they made Iris black, or Candace Patton has a video backstage behind the scenes and says, this is what's really going on and this is my proof. Until you have that, it's hard to try and fire an actress for being racist when you can't. The stuff that you're saying right now really is not what I consider, 100% proof that she is. Yes, she did do interviews where she called herself, almost implied that she was the leading lady of the show. I mean, she has done that. I've seen them myself. But I mean, most actresses do that. So I mean, it's not like you're promoting the show and you're like, it's my show, and I think, you love your character, you're gonna pump your character up. Does that make her racist? No. Now, I would love to know why the actresses aren't friends, why the actresses don't follow each other on social media, why the actresses spend time with all of the other cast members but each other. Cecile's actress is friends with Candace and is also friends with Danielle. When she hangs out with Danielle, she's not hanging out with Iris's actor, with Candace. They're never in the three of them have never been in hangout pictures that were not studio promotional stuff ever. Ever. So yeah, I don't know, guys. All of this is just weird. Let me go to some of the things you guys are saying. Working for the CW equals problematic. Yep. Seriously, I'm really beginning to think if you work for the CW, you're destined for failure. I don't know. It's really sad because I like some of the shows on the CW, not the network. I don't care about the network either way. But it does feel like every week now people are coming out and saying crap, and like, I don't know. But to be fair, we may be getting it from like the other networks soon too. So if the CW fires Danielle, then I'm done with the Flash. Okay. That's fair. Like I said, I don't care for Caitlin. I think she's boring. I really do. And I think Killer Frost is boring. But I mean, if you like her character, I am not going to judge that. So, there you go. When you're a celebrity, you can't say whatever you want to say. Dark Phoenix, this is true. You can't. There needs to be a little PR training when you say things. I just don't think Danielle realized the scope and the magnitude of her words by her saying, my snowberries, you're basically, and not every snowberry, not every West Allen is crazy and racist or insane, but there are some. And so when you are talking to the mass, you've got to be very careful. If you see people post on your Instagram, like I think one of the posts that I saw was something about Candace, I can't believe Barry married that monkey or gorilla. If you see that on your Instagram, you may want to say something about that to kind of taper down the nuts in your group. But, it is what it is. Thank you for saying what I've been thinking. Fandoms with time can be toxic. Very much so. I just don't understand why Caitlin Snow was at the forefront of everything. Because from what I remember, Caitlin Snow was not a real flashed, out person. That she was just Killer Frost that took over. Yes, Caitlin basically was a scientist. There was an experiment. They locked her in like this chamber and froze her to death. And instead of it freezing her, because they experiment, I think either she was experimenting with this this chemical, or they were, her like cells bonded to this chemical. So she's perpetually cold all the time, but it gave her ice ability. And that is the reason that she is crazy and evil, is because she can't get warm. Her whole personality changed. So Caitlin Snow was a very meek, think of like Selena Kyle before she became Catwoman. It's the same thing. So what they did to Caitlin in The Flash was just crazy. But again, CW, Arrowverse. After Crystal Frost, the predecessor was often a previous storyline Earth. Yes. Sorry I'm late. You are not late, Bobby. Welcome to the party. Hi, Joe. Geek Show. That's my good friend, Joe. I do collabs with him. Check out his channel. It is very awesome. He does awesome comic book reviews. Plus, he dresses in character, which is hilarious. Not all the time, but pretty cool. Check it out. What have I missed? In chat, Geronimo, we are talking about Danielle Panabaker being accused of being a racist, whether it is why we think it's true, or if it's cancer culture, or cancellation culture is what we're really saying, or something else. It's a problem. I just don't understand what is the issue with the CW network. It seems like each time I turn my back for a literal second, a new issue or problem just shows up. I knew that the Flash fandom was toxic. Can the fandom actually separate the characters from the people that playing them for 1 and 2? I know that when Iris was casted, that people mainly OG cut and dry comics are going to take offense that they choose Candace as her. But let's be honest, they did the same thing when they found out that New Earth Wally R. West in the comics was black, and look how the characters were treated. I mean, you know what's so funny about Wally West, actor? He's actually half white. He's biracial. And I was waiting for the hate on that because, sometimes, us biracials, we're treated as second citizens too. So we don't have, again, I have more of, I guess, a pass, and I have entitlement because I'm lighter skinned. So people don't ever think that I'm half black. I always get Hispanic or Filipino. I don't care where I go. And I get a lot of racial slurs, in those categories. I get the wrong racism. But yeah, Wally West actor, his mother is white with blonde hair, just like the bold type, with Kat. She's half white, and they're both Australian. I always thought it was funny that nobody ever got mad about them portraying, characters. Well, she's portraying a biracial, but don't get me started with that on bold type. But I think Wally West is portraying completely black. And normally when we do that in stories, our darker biracials, people get mad at us. So that was interesting. Let's see here. Maria, it's true, because if you see Riverdale from the first season to the season that curling go on, it's a literal clusterfuck, excuse my language. Every single character of color is completely one note, and any significant increase in plot storyline development is minute to point where it's blatantly obvious. Yeah. And it's hard to adapt all white comics with, diversity when they never had any. Archie Comics was for a very long time a very picture perfect, Leave It to Beaver white town, and it's nothing like Riverdale. Like, there was no killings every week. It was just really, you could run it in the Sunday papers, and it was a family oriented like comic. The biggest thing was who will he choose? Who will Archie go with? Betty or Veronica? That was literally the whole plot of this whole flipping comic. So all of this stuff, they had such an opportunity to do more. It's just really sad. Kevin, again, very true. The writing for the female characters has always been trash. I agree. Cancel culture should be canceled. Absolutely. I do think if you are an evil, homophobic, racist piece of crap, that you need to be fired. But again, we're back to Hartley. I kind of feel like that whole situation, it was 8 years ago. And if he was doing it now, that's one thing. But I keep seeing like pictures of him and Candace Patton hanging out. He was hanging out with Joe. He was hanging out with Cisco's actor. He didn't seem to be that person. But again, we don't know what happens behind the scenes. We only know what happens on the flash. So, and sometimes we're not impressed with that. So we can't say how he is in real life. But if we're going by an 8-year cycle of tweets, and yes, I've read some of them, and yes, they were flipping horrible, and yes, he's a comedian, and comedians say horrible shit. I'm sorry. No matter what nationality you are, they say horrible things because that is what they do. It's like YouTube. It's like clickbait. When you see a title where it says, someone broke into my house, and it's their dog, it's like, that's what a comedian does. They do it to get attention. He was just an idiot who was using his social media platform to be funny in very racist and kind of, pro women's abuse type scenarios. So yeah, he was dumb. And if he had done this back then while he was on the flash, if this was a current tweet, oh heck yeah. Yeah, I know you're stupid, but you know better. You need to go. You know the power of social media. But 8 years ago, you can change in 8 years. So like I said, I'm still on the fence about that, guys. I'm still on the fence about that. Let me see here. Okay, so we have completely one note, and any significant increase in plot story development is minute. So we're talking about Caitlin. So Caitlin's character to me is one note. I'm sorry, I can't. Caitlin and Killer Frost act the exact same to me. The only difference is whiter makeup and whiter hair and blue eyeliner. I mean, she's the same. She does not act any more aggressive as Killer Frost, even in the beginning, than she did as Caitlin Snow. She just sounds a little bit more monotone. And that is all. I'm sorry. I am not a fan. I'm just not a fan at all. I apologize. I'm not. So, yeah, no. Let's see here. Okay. Every time I hear snowberry, I want a strawberry with some Cool Whip. It does sound like a really cool dessert, doesn't it? Just like West Allen. Are you telling me to go west? I mean, are you demand? It's like somebody's GPS loses their mind. West Allen. Let's see. I know I just went down a little bit. Hold on. Okay. It's way too easy to find dirt on someone. It is, Kevin. It is. I mean, and not just with celebrities. They're doing a lot in corporations too. A lot of businesses are getting in trouble for stuff they've said years ago. They are not playing right now. If not a racist, definitely an opportunist. Yes. I honestly hate Caitlin's direction. I want her to be a villain. This is what I hope for from season 1. Absolutely. I would be on board with that. I'm just tired. Like, even, you have to understand, I'm a big Black Lightning fan. Having him in Crisis on Infinite Earth, I was excited. I thought, okay, maybe this is going to be a good thing. He was on for like 16 minutes total. 16 minutes. He actually was in the latter part of Crisis to save Caitlin for 2 seconds. Literally, that was it. What's the point? Why in the world? You know what? No, I'm not going to do it. Don't get me started. I don't understand why Caitlin is in everything. I mean, Cisco wasn't even in everything. And he actually was, being an engineer, he had more to contribute to the second half of Crisis than Caitlin did as Killer Frost. But I think somewhere in her contract, she has to be in every other scene. Plus, I think the actress is directing parts or some of the episodes as well. So I don't know what's going on. Like I said, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. If we find out later on that Danielle has been creating a hostile, racist environment, and because Candace Patton is this is her breakout role. She's been in some things, but not of this magnitude. And Danielle Panabaker has been in movies and has been in other stuff. So she's the more established actor. And I think she did know one of the producers, which is why she got onto The Flash. I don't even know if she had to audition. Candace had to go through the whole rotation. So if it is that it could even be a seniority thing. It may not even be racism. She's basically being plugged as the first lady of The Flash. She gets a lot more screen time than Iris does. And so it's really weird for a character that was never a Flash character to begin with. So it's like it's almost like the Arrow treatment, how Felicity became like the focus and Laurel just kind of got pushed out. But Laurel is an established character in Arrow's universe, and Felicity was a concept in the Batman universe. She was barely in it. So like, I just think it's weird. I really do. But again, I can't blame Danielle entirely because it's also the showrunners. It's also the network. And they have a new showrunner. I don't know what's going to happen going forward. Season 6, like, I'm going to be real with you. I have not been keeping up with The Flash. I had to go back and rewatch some of the things because I, quite frankly, after Crisis, a lot of the Arrowverse shows have been ticking me off. So, outside of Black Lightning, I really have not. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, the writing, the showrunners, the network, I blame them for most of this stuff. So let's see here. It's way too easy to find dirt on someone. We already said that. If not a racist, definitely an opportunist. I honestly hate Caitlyn's direction. I think I already read that one, and I do agree with you. Definitely should be a villain. Should have been a villain from day one. Her and Cisco, because Cisco's also a villain. I mean, in the comics, he did work with the Justice League a little while. Because Caitlyn's only been, if I may stand corrected, but I'm pretty sure that Killer Frost has only been with the Suicide Squad because of a bomb in her head. If I remember correctly. I don't ever remember her working with the Justice League. It could have happened. I just don't remember it. Or any form of superheroes. Let's see. I honestly... Oh, here we go. That's true. The writing for female characters have sucked when it comes to the CW ever since the start of Arrow. Case in point, Laurel Lance. Yep. Iris West. Joe, stop saying I'm hungry. This is my lunch break. Geronimo, I'm curious to how problematic the CW has been behind the scenes. Like Nicholas said, it's like things are coming out weekly. Arrow, Flash again. I hope things aren't that fractured. I think they've been fractured since the beginning, honestly. I really want to know why Dreamer's going to Legends of Tomorrow. Is it a cast thing? Because they all seem to get along really well at conventions. They always joke and stuff. But is it like, are there issues on the set? We don't know. We have no idea. We have absolutely no idea. So it could have been just to give her like more to do. Maybe Supergirl is getting canceled because Melissa's pregnant right now. Supergirl is pregnant in real life. I don't know. Let's see here. Chris, I'm very afraid of a lot of people panning black and white against each other. We're all human in one species and the same red blood in our bodies. I'm biracial, Greek, Scottish, and I'm homosexual. Pretty close to me. I'm half Scottish. My mother was from Aberdeenshire in a town called Cove Bay. And that's in Kincardshire Prefecture, if you know where that is. And I have dual citizenship. I can move to Scotland tomorrow, but my half blackness says it's too cold, so I'm not going. I'm also part Native American. My dad's father was Apache Indian, but my dad looks completely black. Like if you looked at my father, he does not look Native or anything. He looks completely black. So it kind of rolled to me. And then my brother has sandy brown hair, darker skin, and hazel eyes. Same parents. Let's see here. So apparently someone made a list of racist things and she has said are done. All I can say is yikes. It does not look good for her. So I would love to know what that list is. Can you post some of that? Because I haven't seen this list. I am diehard old school Flash fan, and I don't think the toxic mentality is from true. Yes. Yeah, it's not. Toxicity has been around for a long time. Like I said, Harry Potter was my eye opener. I mean, I would literally see people on I think it was called MuggleNet, Muggle board. Might have been MuggleNet. They had a bulletin board and I would watch these people trash Hermione's actress, Ginny's actress, and call Harry an idiot, make up your mind. And, even poor Ron got it. Why would Hermione go with Ron when her soulmate is Harry? And they would just say horrible, horrible stuff. But this is the same toxic culture who also got on the bandwagon saying that Lord of the Rings was a ripoff of Harry Potter. Digest that one. Let's see here. You are one of my favorite YouTubers. Thank you. I appreciate that. I need all the support I can. This is a work day for me. I'm stressed out. I have a Zoom call for an hour after I leave this chat or our live stream, and just pray for me because it's not interesting what I'm gonna have to talk about. But yeah, not as fun as this. Let's see. I like Killer Frost. And you can like Killer Frost. Like I said, I am never, ever going to judge anyone for what they like, what they don't like. One thing I've always hated on YouTube, I hate when people call out other people for what they like and what they believe. I don't do that. As long as you're not calling out somebody else on my comment section, like I actually had somebody do, and he had to be blocked. You don't call people stupid. You don't call it, don't call people dumb. Don't fat shame anyone. Don't say they're mental, they have a mental illness. Just don't do that. Don't be excuse my French, an asshat. And then, I'm cool with whatever. I love debates. I just do. The thing that makes us individuals is that we don't have the same opinion. And as long as you're not hurting somebody, I don't care. So I enjoy it. And heck, maybe you'll make a point that I'll agree with. It's just what it is. So if you love Killer Frost and you find something you like about Killer Frost, and you know what? I say love Killer Frost. You can post hearts. I am completely down with that. Let's see. What are Dreamer's powers? So Dreamer's powers are she's prophetic when she sleeps. She's able to project and they have a technical term. I call it in the comics, they're like blue waves. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Dreamer, because in the comic book, so in the comics, Dreamer was, the power rolled from her mother to her and passed the sister. And the sister in the comics learned witchcraft and became a witch. And so she was along the lines of, not Scarlet Witch, but I'm trying to think of a good one. Like Nico from The Runaways. So she had abilities like Nico, instead of just not through a staff. She actually was able to do cast different spells that are almost like what the staff would do. And Dreamer she can't do that, but she could do force fields. She could do sonic. I'm just going to say sonic energy blast. I don't remember the technical term, but most of the things that Dreamer could do was in her sleep. She had prophetic dreams. She could tell you what was going to happen, and it was very good strategic wise. Let's see here. Okay. Plus, I love Dreamer, but I feel the writers sometimes struggle to give her stuff to do. Yes. I honestly feel like the reason that they have problems with Dreamer is because they did such a very cool thing of casting the first trans female actress as the character, and then keeping the actress trans. If you look at Roswell right now, the character, and why did her name go out of my head? Because I flippin' love her. She's in Sense8, but there's an actress that's on Roswell right now who is, I think her name is, it's not Charlie. It is Charlie. Her name is Charlie. She's the sister of Cameron, and she's playing a cis female, which there's nothing wrong with that. But she's trans female. And sometimes I really love when you play trans female, because you're representing an entire, a group of people that otherwise have no representation hardly at all outside of shows like The L Word and things like that. So I really wish they had done that. But at the same time, I guess I'm kind of happy that she actually can pass for a cisgender person as well. So I don't know. I'm on the fence with that too. But Dreamer is unique because, Dreamer is literally portraying herself, not herself, but her, being trans female. And so I think it's cool. Plus, I love the fact that they made it realistic. There's transphobia in, and there's even her sister, when her sister didn't, get the Dreamer powers, the first thing she said was, "You're not even a real woman." And I'm like, the sister was supposed to be the biggest supporter. So I do like that. I have not been keeping up with Supergirl though, guys. I'm sorry. Because out of all of the CW shows, that one sometimes bores me a little bit. No hate to Melissa. I think she's very good at playing, Kara, very good at playing Supergirl. I like Alec. I mean, I like most of the cast. I'm a big Martian Manhunter fan, though they need to stop dumbing my boy down because he's a lot cooler than he is on Supergirl. But yeah, I'm kind of behind in Supergirl. But yeah, Dreamer, I think Dreamer is definitely getting like the short end of the stick, and maybe that is why she's going over to Legends. I don't know. Let's see here. Scotland is cold at the moment, Maria. Sending love. Yeah, see, it's so cold in here. I even have a hoodie. Like, because I can't, I have to wear my business clothes when I do my Zoom call. And then as soon as that call's over, this hoodie is coming on because it's freezing in here. So I can imagine Scotland is insanely cold. So no. Look, I'm not unproud of being half Scottish. My mother, my dad was military, so my mother actually was the one that was around more. So I was raised, with my British mother. So it took me a long time to kind of differentiate American words and British words because my mother had an accent and my mother never became an American citizen. So she died a Scottish citizen, and it just rolled to me. But I mean, I'm telling you, I can't do the cold. It's too flip. My cousins run around with tank tops in like 0-degree weather. I can't do it. Let's see here. Preach in Harry Potter. They use the Muggleborn in those books. Oh, no. I know. Yeah. Let's see here. Dreamer's House. Thank you, Nicholas, for definitely psionic projections. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you. Nicholas is on it, man. I feel like you're like my comic encyclopedia. If I don't remember something, you're like right there. Let's see. There are way too many people on YT hating. I absolutely agree with that. There are trolls across the board. There are. I mean, it's just what it is. People are very unhappy with their own lives, and the only way they get satisfaction is by making other people feel like crap. And that's what trolls are. The YouTube channels that you go to where they promote that kind of stuff, which I am completely against. They do it probably for clicks, for subscribes, and for views, because honestly, they probably don't. At the end of the day, they probably don't believe a third of the crap that they're actually spewing, but they want to be, they want to be bigger on YouTube. So that's just why they do the stuff that they do. And this is why they say the stuff that they say. It is your job to be objective and have an open mind. And, if you follow what somebody says wholeheartedly and you have weighed both sides accordingly and you still come to the same conclusion, more power to you. But if you weigh both sides and find flaws in what people are saying, which, I mean, even with me, if I say something, you can find a flaw in it. Of course, I'm a human being. I am just as ignorant as everybody else. I just try hard not to be. But, if you find something that you don't agree with and you want to go your own route, there is nothing wrong with that. That's why we were born with free will. Let's see here. What the hell is going on? Why and why? Lord Ron, so much. I mean, that's a very broad question. I love Kill Across 2 and Dreamer are also unrelated. Hashtag Mila Gale. Mila Gale. You're going to have to tell me who that is, Chris. Mila Gale. I probably know, and I'm probably... Yeah, I don't know. Tell me who that is. Like, what are Zatanna's powers? Nicholas, answer that question. That's a long one. That's right. Respect the dojo. We can peacefully discuss and debate without animosity. The world doesn't believe it for the most part, but the courtroom microcosm, can be an example. Yeah. As much as I dislike our president, I do believe that some news is fake news. And that's been that way long before he got here. Heck, so he actually spews fake news all the time. If anybody caught the latest COVID update saying the reason that we are in an uprise of COVID cases is because of testing, no, not because the country has reopened and people aren't wearing their masks and it's whatever. Let's see here. Is Starman a real superhero? I wish, but no. Now, do you mean in terms of is Starman considered a hero in the comics? Then yes. If you mean if Starman is a hero in real life, unless somebody knows something I don't know, no. They just posted Doom Patrol Season 2 trailer. Awesome. And I will just be watching that very soon. Maria, Dream, aka Nia Nora Powers, fall into these categories as honorable mentions. See, that's what I thought. It's just trying to explain them because I love powers where you can dream or sleep. Like I'm a big Quanin fan, which I think we established in my last live stream. I love the fact that she can fight on the astral plane. Like she can kick your butt astrally. And I just think that is such an underused ability. Yes, we saw Professor X use that a lot, especially Onslaught, but we don't see it enough. And I love when somebody can just get down on the astral plane and just beat the flipping crap out of somebody from their couch. That's pretty cool. Let's see here. Powers of Lysolia magic through backward speech, mnemonic incantations. Yes. Don't worry, Maria, I got you when it comes to almost endless comic book encyclopedia. Is both the blessing and the curse of having a photographic memory. Look at you. I don't have an eidetic or a photographic anything. I don't remember what I ate for breakfast or if I did. So yay. And I'm 43, so I figure in the next 5 to 10 years it's going to get worse. But that's okay because what I don't remember, I have a dry erase board. Let's see. Abigail and Mel. Thank you. I didn't know that was their ship name. I like it. Meligal. Huh. Okay. That is a ship I will get behind. I'm not going to fight anybody over it, but I'm down for that. I think that was one of the ships earlier. I think I actually started liking Abigail. I was like, I could totally see her and Mel, and they started flirting with each other, and I was like, ha ha ha. Keep that in season 3. The fans are racist. That Danielle chick had a friend among the producers, and they made her life miserable in the show. It took a black showrunner to come on board to make her feel safe. So where did you see that? Like, I've heard so many rumors, but is there like something, like, did somebody behind the scenes say this? Like a tech person, like a director that came on? Because they switch the directors sometimes. What happened? I just think it's odd. I thought it was extremely odd that everybody in the cast is like friends with each other on Instagram, but Candace and her aren't. They are not friends at all. They don't tag each other. They don't take pictures with each other. Even in their promo shots, they don't tag each other. Something went down. Like, this is not just the Snowberry versus the West Allen toxic crap. What happened? I really want to know. I think that's what we should know. Don't give us stories like the Snowberries are unhappy or the West Allens are calling for, Danielle's head on the block because of this interview she did. No. Have somebody from the show, somebody say, this went down on this set and this is what's really happening. That is what should happen. So, yeah. Okay, who is your favorite DC character? Mine is Raven. So, I'm in love with Wonder Woman. Have been. I've been so in love with Wonder Woman, I started falling in love with Xena, Warrior Princess, because she reminded me of Wonder Woman. As for fighting, I love Lady Shiva. Lady Shiva's my girl. I love her. Like, she's endgame. I mean, she beat the heck out of Batman. That woman she's no joke. Does she have shady morals? Yes, but she's still really badass. So I love Lady Shiva. Very, very much so. Yeah. So if you're going to ask me my favorite DC character, I would say Lady Shiva, which is why I have a video about her on my channel. Let's see. To be fair, you can work with someone and not be friends. This is true. This is very true, but not to the point where it is obvious that in the writing of your show, they purposely write scenes where you are never really together. Like, it's very rare that Caitlin and Iris interact. Caitlin and Iris's characters aren't even friends. Iris is more friends with Cecile and Cisco's girlfriend Camille than she is with Caitlin. You know what I mean? And and she started with Caitlin. You know what I mean? So they should have been best friends. Look at Felicity. When Felicity saw Laurel, even though they were both in love with the same guy at one point, they became really good friends. Felicity was very good friends with Sarah. You see this in other shows. You don't see that in The Flash. Caitlin and Iris are not friends. So, yeah, this is one time I actually think real life is imitating art and vice versa. Let's see here. Maria, I just love characters that make and used telepathic abilities. Professor X and Jean. Yep. The character that caught my attention the most was Emma Frost because we got to see the more fleshed out version. Yes, because Emma Frost is very cool, very complex, not one-dimensional character. I like her a lot, actually. Who is better, Hot Girl or Black Canary? Well, so what do you mean in terms of better? You mean better characters, better fighters? Black Canary, so this is controversial, I do believe would probably beat the hell out of Hot Girl. I know Hot Girl has had many lives to get, skills up. She's had that experience from her many lifetimes of being reborn a lot, but I kind of feel like it doesn't matter. I think Black Canary would destroy her. And then I think she was even trained to fight by Ted Grant. Like Wildcat was one of, her teachers. She's been trained for a long time. Like the original Black Canary, her father wanted her to join the Gotham Police Force. So Gotham City Police, GCPD. So she trained from very early on, as a fighter, and Daddy was beating her butt. So, that's the one thing I did like about her is that she literally did not just get powers or decide to become like a metahuman. In the original Golden Age, she didn't have the Sonic Scream. She got the Sonic Scream later. She was just a really good fighter. Like she was Street Fighter. That woman walked into a house I think it was in the comics, and there was like she was taking someone home. I forgot who it was, and she said, "Oh, my father's in there with one of his shady business partners, and my mother is in there, and we're scared, and I don't want to go in there." And she walked in that house and beat the hell out of everybody, and so the person could go home. That's Black Canary. So yeah. Let's see here. Yes, Xena was awesome. Yes. Plus Lucy Lawless seems badass as well. Yes, even now, I think she's in her late 50s. She is amazing. Amazing. I would not kick her out of bed. For DC characters, I would have to say Aqualad. I always say his name incorrectly. Virgil Hawkins, Static, yes. Eddie Bloomberg, Kid Devil. Yeah, see, and there's a lot. There's so many characters, and that's why when people ask me my favorite, I go by my initial, my favorite in terms of scopes of powers and cool. But if I broke it down by who's my favorite Asian character, who's my favorite Black character, who's my favorite white character, who's my favorite, it would all be in different categories. So it's hard, but still, I just have a place in my heart for Lady Shiva. Let's see here. Blasphemy, blasphemy. How dare you say She-Ra can be Batman? How dare you? Lord Drawn, I didn't say She-Ra. I said Lady Shiva. And I'm not saying it. She did. I can show you the issue. She beat the crap out of him. Why do you keep having a girl version of the male superheroes? Ex-Batman, Batgirl, I can't. Well, I mean, they've always had. The Bat family is an extensive family. It's always been a running joke about Batman, too. He has underage employees. All the Robins have been underage for the most part. Just like Xavier, he's if you go to Blurred Without Fears channel, one of the things that we always joke about is he has child soldiers. Technically, they should all be arrested for exploiting children. But the Bat family they have Batwoman, they have Batgirl, they have, it's an equal opportunity vigilante family. What I really want is to see Astrid Bloom return or be introduced into the Marvel 616 universe, because I know for a fact that she recovered from her mental coma courtesy of Emma. She would personally have a vendetta against Emma and most likely working to manipulate Sebastian Shaw through her own insidious means. Yes. That would be cool, though. But again, like I said, they're doing a lot of stuff in the X-Men, X-Force recreated, Excalibur recreated. I love Hellions. Universe. So we really don't know, who's going to end up in Krakoa, honestly. Let's see here. Well, Batman was originally created to be Batman's girlfriend, plus people thought he and Robin were gay, so they had to dispel that. True. And there was another Batwoman. People don't know that. Kate Kane is not the first Batwoman, and I'm going to let Kevin tell you who that one is. I know who it is, which is what I thought they were actually going to use her in lieu of Kate Kane, but, whatever. She wasn't a lesbian, so I guess that's probably why. And no, I'm not talking about Gordon, not Batgirl. There was an original Batwoman. I'm fine with girl versions. I'm just saying, yeah, that's fine. I mean, you're just asking questions. We get it. Like my grandma says, Maria, Bruce Wayne has 11 children and still growing to this very day. Yep. Are you looking forward to the Percy Jackson series on Disney Plus? I have seen one of the trailers. I've watched the movies. It looks cool. I mean, they definitely have a budget. It's just like Artemis Fowl. That one looks pretty good too. I haven't had a chance to check any of them out. I don't have Disney Plus yet. I'm waiting because I like when all the seasons start up simultaneously or really close together, because I'm going to do a trial first and I want to make sure my 30 days count. Let's see. I love Marvel and DC and I wish they have a show for Vixen. Actually, I think Vixen is my favorite DC character. She's a very cool character. She really, and we did get to see her grandmother in Legends of Tomorrow. We actually got to see her too in, I think she was in Arrow. Yeah, she was in Arrow, helping. Who did she? I forgot what she did. She helped Oliver with something. It's been a minute. Yeah, this is what happens when you watch too many Arrowverse shows. Sometimes you just forget. I know she was on there though. I know she was on there. But yeah, so still harping on the Danielle thing and the it's just, I really want to know. As a matter of fact, who was it that just said, let me go back up. I want to know who said that the producer and Danielle was basically, they were basically bullying Candace Patton, because that honestly changes the game completely if that's what was going on. I can't go by what West Allen fans are saying, what fans of The Flash would, which honestly I think most of them are West Allen, the toxic ones, not all. You don't have to be toxic to be a West Allen fan. You could just like the ship. But the ones that are out there calling out people, wanting them to be fired, there needs to be concrete evidence. I need to see where she was racist. That's what I want you to show me, the tweets. I want you to show me that. I do think, and I said this earlier, where she messed up and where a lot of actors messed up. If you create a bubble for your fans to basically fly off with information that may not have come out of your mouth, but you were pro for, and you did nothing to dissuade the level of cray-cray that they will become, because that bubble goes from this big to like that big, that is a little bit on you. So like when she was all pro Snowberry in the beginning, when people were like, a lot of the Snowberry fans were posting racist stuff, even on her social media account about Candace Patton, not just Iris, the actress. If you don't use your platform to say, hey, I am not down with that, this actress is my coworker, we don't talk about each other like that, and I'd appreciate it if you kept that crap off of my Instagram, my Twitter, or whatever, then that is a little bit on you. I'm sorry, that is true. But I can't, it's just really hard. It's just really hard. I just really need to see. I need to see it. I need somebody to show it to me, because I don't want to drown somebody without proof, undeniable proof that this person is a racist. Because the cancel culture, guys, it's bad. It is bad right now. It is really bad. You could basically say something on social media. Me as a half black person, I could say something and then all of a sudden be accused of not being in touch with my blackness. And it may be something completely taken out of context. And you have to be very careful, because I understand the Black Lives Matter movement needs to happen. I am not anti-Black Lives Matter at all. But I do know that with every movement, there are extremists in the group. So you got to be very careful. And you can't just like throw away somebody's whole livelihood and career based on what you think happened and based on how you interpret something that may or may not have been what the actress was actually saying. So, yeah. Let's see here. Maria, we don't talk about the Percy Jackson movie created by Fox. We don't acknowledge them, but they don't exist because most of the information was mismatched. Yeah, but the graphics and cinematography of that was pretty cool. And I really like the three lead actors that they got. Scarlet Witch is my favorite Marvel sister. I'm obsessed with her. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't really like MCU Scarlet Witch because I thought she was too much of a bitch. Like, but I also don't like Captain America in the MCU. So, everyone's like, but Tony was an ass. Yes, Tony's always been an ass. He was an ass in the comic books. We get that. But I'm not going to discount the fact that Steve Rogers was an ass too. So, and a Mary Sue who got everything he wanted by the end of that movie. But yeah, Scarlet Witch, comic-wise, very powerful character. Pretty much, I think, ranked up there with Phoenix, honestly, in terms of power scopes. I don't know about Jamie Braddock, though. Psylocke and Brian Braddock's brother, because his powers, it's messed up. Let's see. Zari Tomaz is kind of a copycat of Vixen, no offense. Zari, okay. Okay. I think that, and there's no offense taken, I think that, I know there's an animated CW show. I haven't had a chance to see it because I didn't have the CW. I don't know if it was a CW app or if there's another CW like platform that you pay for, but I never got a chance to see the cartoon, but I've heard good things about it. I just wish they gave Bumblebee, Karen Beecher Duncan, her justice, because from what I read many times, she constantly overlooked when she clearly has what it takes. Yes, Bumblebee is very cool. Like I said, I need to do a Bumblebee video. That actually should be on my list. I have a list of spotlight videos I'm going to be doing up till August. I need to add Bumblebee on that list. Let's see here. The original Batwoman is Catherine Kane, not to be confused with Kate Kane. Yep. And there is a third Batwoman named Helena Wayne. Yep. Now, some people speculate that Helena Wayne is actually Huntress, and her origin story was revamped. You know, comics. Hell, I'm just waiting for Black Lightning to pick up my girl Raquel Irwin as Rocket, aka Rocket, because it would be interesting how she and Jefferson would interact with each other. Oh yeah. Yeah. I would love Static Shock to be in the same universe as Black Lightning. That would be hilarious. CWC, thank you. I could not think of that. Maria, I just realized something about Batwoman, the show. If they cast this Ryan Wilder, then what does that mean for Mary Elizabeth Kane, aka Flamebird, or is she currently going by Hawkfire? See, I don't know if they're going to do that. I have no idea because, and I always thought that Flamebird was actually the niece or cousin of Catherine, not Kate. Correct me if I'm wrong, because, you know, I've been reading comics for over 37 years, and that means I've forgotten about 37 years worth of stuff. So I thought Flamebird actually was the niece or cousin of Catherine, the original Batwoman, and became the sidekick of Kate Kane. Correct me if I'm wrong. And in that regard, I mean, let's be real. If they create a brand new character, it's going to be interesting for everything. She's not going to be welcome as one of the Justice League members now because they've already formed their little table. You got Black Lightning, you got White Canary, you got all of these people, the Flash, all these people sitting around this table. Batwoman was a paragon, and this person's not going to have anything to do with Crisis. So why trust her? Why tell her your identities? It's like revamping the entire flippin' series. It's stupid. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be open-minded here. I'm trying. I feel like it's a dumb idea to waste all of the stuff that you did, whether I liked it or not. Instead of taking this opportunity to improve where you messed up in season 1, by still keeping the cast, you're just gonna throw it all away and do your own thing. But CW Arrowverse. Let's see here. I thought they could have replaced Kate Kane with Catherine Kane in a TV show. Exactly. That's what I thought they were going to do. Team Insect. Spider-Man, Ant-Man, Wasp, and Bumblebee. That would be cool. I'm a big Spider-Man fan, and I love Spider-Verse. Honestly, I'm surprised the CW isn't doing a Batgirl TV show. They probably can't. Like, I don't know. I think it's whatever the easiest and most accessible rights they can get is the series that they're going to do. I'm surprised they had Bruce Wayne in the finale, honestly. It'd be awesome to see them all together, but Milestone Media required the rights of the... Yeah, okay, for the most part. So they're separate from DC and at least in comics for now. Yeah, but maybe they can do like a side like contract with Milestone. Kind of like how, MCU does with Sony versus Marvel. And I mean, I don't know. What do I know? She was the niece of Catherine Kane and did become the psychic of Kate Kane only temporarily until she realized that they had conflicting views. I thought so. It's been a minute. Thank you. Is the wizard Zatanna's dad? No. Zatara is Zatanna's dad, right? I don't remember if his name was Zatara. I remember he was a magician with like he was a traveling, magician who did really cheap tricks. I have to go back and look. In my mind, there's so much in my head about Zatanna. Like, I remember her actually in one universe being from like ancient time, like medieval times, and was like cursed, and then that's why she had her powers. And then there's another version where she actually inherited them from her dad, and there's another version where something happened and she ended up being an apprentice to somebody, and I can't remember whichever. There's been a lot of storylines for Zatanna. Yeah, I need to go back and look at that, because she's been through a lot. I remember there's issues where she's in support groups talking about her past, which is absolutely like hilarious to me. But whatever. Shira Patalgino Zatara. Thank you. I did not realize his last name was Zatara. Well, I was thinking it was something else. Okay, never mind. Danielle just had a baby, so throwing her out of work without proof of any racism would be cruel. I get she and Candace may not be friends, but cancel culture has become dangerous in creating division. True. Now, let's be fair. Danielle just had a baby, but she is in no danger of being poor, because I'm pretty sure her husband makes a ton of money. She does not need to work. Trust me on that. But to play devil's advocate, though, if you love your job and that is your livelihood and that's what you want to do and love to do, then yeah, that would be messed up. Let's see. Zatanna's real name is Z. Zatara. So I knew her name was Z. I did not realize her last name was Zatara. I don't know why I didn't know that. I call age. It's my ignorance showing. Maria, I just thought of a team name for Aquaman and his group besides Atlanteans. How about Vitamin C? Yep. I am down with that. That's funny. Vitamin C. Okay. Somebody should make a YouTube channel like that. I want Zatanna to have her own CW show. So do I, and I want them to bring Constantine in every now and then. I think that would be awesome. And we just cancel Batwoman. I'm still giving Batwoman a shot. I mean, I don't know. It's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. You really want a show to do well. You want it to do well, and it's the writing that sucks. But guys, if you look at some of my videos, especially my charm videos about CW, I've had a problem with writing on the CW as a whole. I feel like they use the same group of writers on every show, and it's showing because there's a level of suckage that keeps happening across the board. These aren't even Arrowverse shows, and they are sucking. So yeah, if I just stop watching Batwoman, I think the only thing I'll end up watching is Black Lightning. I've been so disengaged from The Flash because I'm not as into it as I was when the first 2 seasons came out. I'm just not. And same with Supergirl. I'm just not as engaged in these 2 series. I'm loving Stargirl right now so far. Knock on wood. It's pretty good. I'll be doing a Stargirl review later tonight. But I don't have the same connection. So I'm really hoping that Batwoman season 2 does well. But at the same time, the direction they're going to me is just so innately stupid. I don't know how it will. I don't know how they're gonna get away with recreating an entirely different universe. I even heard one theory was they were gonna try and cancel out Kate Kane's existence or kill her off completely. And I'm like, wow, they're gonna kill off Kate Kane. I mean, that's what they did with Black Canary initially, but still, it's like, why do you keep doing this with these canon characters? It's weird. It's a CW thing. I can't even say comics. It is absolutely CW. Let's see here. Okay. I don't trust the CW with the character Zatanna, period. Yes, I think Zatanna would do well in the movie, though. That would be awesome. If they do the Illuminati and Marvel, like in Phase 5, then they can look at that and get inspired over at DCEU and say, we want to have something like the Illuminati too. And then they go back, and there's tons of storylines. You know, even if we did the Dark Justice League, anything like that would be very, very cool to do a movie about. If we had the right showrunner for DCEU, the Batman Who Laughs it would bring in some money. It really would, because that whole series is messed up. But I don't really see, like, Dark Metal Justice League, Dark Metal Knight. I don't think any of those will. I mean, I say that they may do it in animated form, but I don't think we'll ever get a live action adaptation, because they haven't been doing the origin stories very well. Except I did like the Wonder Woman movie. Aquaman wasn't bad. Man of Steel, I'm iffy about. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good, so I'm on the fence. Justice League was a mess, and I haven't seen the Snyder cut yet. Still waiting to see that, to see if there's anything different. I have no hope for Flashpoint. I don't know if it's because Ezra Miller's playing the Flash. I have no hope. I have zero hope for him. I just don't. I don't know if we're going to get any, I honestly don't know what else is going to happen. I don't know where DCEU is going from this point. I mean, yes, we're going to have Robert Pattinson as Batman. He may do a good job, but then what's next? Are we getting another Superman movie? Are we getting, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Right now, I'm going to be honest with you. The only movie I'm looking forward to is Wonder Woman 1984, because, it's Wonder Woman and she's hot. So there you go. Trying to see. Imagine Raven and Scarlet Witch versus Zatanna and Dark Phoenix. That'd be a good mashup. I just want them to realize the CW seems to be the only girl faking the chance to make it pop. Oh my gosh. Lick the red lipstick off your teeth. Is it on me? You should tell me these things if you're talking to me. Especially since I have a meeting in a little while. Love Charmed, they need new writers. So they have too many writers. That's the problem. They have rotating people that keeps coming in and out and out and out. And I don't think they talk to each other. They don't watch each other's episodes. They don't do anything. It's really weird. Season 3, I'm so worried about season 3. I have hope, but it's small. So I don't know. Let's see here. Batwoman season 2 is going to be interesting. That's a good word. Pure level of suckage. We need the 90s writing back. Yeah, the writing is terrible, which sucks because the character is so interesting. I mean, it's true. I always tell people Kate Kane had very, very cool stories, especially her time with Renee, stuff they would get into, Renee Montoya, even Maggie from Supergirl. Maggie Sawyer actually ends up marrying Kate Kane in the comics. I don't know if they're still together. I haven't been following it. But yeah, she's had a lot of different stories that were really, really good. And they were outside of her relationships and all this other stuff. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't think the writing is ever going to be on that level because it's the CW. I mean, half of them probably have never picked a comic book up in their lives. So, I mean, how can you write about something? They always tell you in class, I have a film degree. In our screenwriting class, they tell you to write what you know. Obviously, they did not get the memo. So, let's see here. Stargirl is pretty awesome. Look forward to your reviews. Cool. I already have the first 3 episodes already up. I need to do episode 4 because last night's episode is pretty cool. We got our Wildcat last night, and they introduced another villain, which I already knew who she was going to be, but yeah, whatever. Let's see. Alice is carrying the cast of Batwoman. She makes the show. I agree that Alice is 100% the most charismatic character and actress right now on that show. I'm not a Mary hater. I actually feel sad for Mary because of how Kate was treating her, and how she's treated as a whole. But I'm not a hater, but she's not as interesting as Alice And Luke is nothing like he was in the comics. As a matter of fact, his crisis self was a lot closer to the real Luke Fox than what we have in Supergirl. But he is there also for nerdiness and comic relief. He's kind of like a cross between CW, Arrowverse, Felicity, mixed with Mr. Fantastic. That's how I look at that. What do you think has the dumbest? Who do you think has the dumbest powers in DC, and who is the youngest DC superhero? The dumbest powers? What was the name of that character? Hold on. There was a character that snapped their finger and hypnotized you. Now, I can't, but you know what? Let me go back and think about that, because that could have been Marvel. But there was one character who just snapped their finger and then could rob the bank, and snapped their finger and then you married him and snapped his, didn't say a word. It just was implied that you knew, you know? And that I think is pretty stupid. As for who is the youngest DC superhero, depends on who's pregnant right now. Like, because normally superhero children are the next in line to inherit the gifts. So whichever character currently in the DC universe that's having a baby, it's that baby. I'm off to dinner now, sending love, and I hope you're well. Thank you. I love your channel. Remain wonderful and keep safe. Bye, Chris. Have some food for me. I'm leaving in I got about 15 minutes because I got to set up my call's at 3. It's 2:11 my time. Ugh. Love work Zoom calls so much. Let's see here. Go back. Sometimes I think that the broadcasting standards, why they can't make it as good as it should be. Maybe. But they do seem to do it. It's so weird. Like, I don't know why you can get away with certain things on shows and you can't. Like the series of 100 gets away with a lot of stuff that a superhero show can't. And that doesn't make any sense to me. So I guess it just really depends, you know, on what the showrunners and the writers are fighting for and what they think the audience should and should not be able to see. Because I think it's more of a personal preference of the writer's room and the showrunners than it is on what they can get away with. It would be interesting if Constantine even meets Kid Devil Eddie Bloomberg as he tries to get information out Motley Demon from hell and finds this random kid out of place looking for asteroid. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot you can do with Constantine. I think that he is there's so many characters in comic book world that are multi-dimensional, but then you put them on TV and then for some reason they become one-dimensional, like Martian Manhunter, for instance. So Constantine to me is such a wild card character because he will do and say anything. I like that he's on Legends of Tomorrow because the stuff that he says on Legends, he can't get away with on The Flash and some of these other series. But he can do it on something like Legends because technically Legends of Tomorrow is not a canon story. It is made for CW. And so they can get away with a lot more. They took a bunch of B characters and they put them all in this one ship and they just rotate these characters out. They sometimes will have A-level Justice Leaguers in. Sometimes I have A-level Justice Society members in. Sometimes they'll have C characters in. But you can do so much in a series like that you can pretty much get away with mostly anything, which is why we had episodes where they were turned into puppets, and that was absolutely hilarious. How do you feel about the Snyder Cut? I don't know. I do think that I think I watched this review online when they announced that HBO was doing it, and people were saying something like, you know, the power of fans is so toxic that the networks are now giving people what they want. They did it with Sonic's redesign, and now they're doing it with the Snyder Cut. And it's absolutely true. I mean, people griped and whined and like threatened to boycott the Sonic movie because of how they made him more human-like. And so then we got the CG redesign, which wasn't a bad choice, but it was like, would that have happened had the fans not gotten toxic and rabid? Same with the Snyder Cut. What if everybody's up in arms about the Snyder Cut and it's like 10 minutes of nothing? You know what I mean? Now, to be fair, the Batman versus Superman movie, which actually should have gone the other way around since this was considered a second Superman movie, and I don't know why, There was some of the stuff that they cut out did make the movie flow better because the stuff they cut out explained some of the stuff that we didn't understand. So if that's what it does, that's fine. There was some controversy because of the, on Themyscira, the Amazonians, their skirts went up 5 inches when Joss Whedon took over and did reshoots. And if that's true, that's kind of messed up. I don't know why you need to do that. They're Amazonians. They don't really care about stuff like that. But I guess it was fan service. I don't know. If we're going to get stuff like that where, the Snyder Cut is pretty much truer to his vision of the story, which, again, haven't seen his version of Watchmen, which is actually verbatim the graphic novels. I don't know if his version's going to be any better than what we got, but hey, you never know. I will probably do a review on it because right now I don't want to say that I hate it or I like it because I don't know what's in it, but I do know how we got it in a way is very messed up. Neuron returned his powers, even though it was just metagene, was mutated in a way that could possibly make him the Captain Marvel of hell. Mira is better than Siren. Controversial. I mean, I guess I never really compared the two. Never did. Do you think it could potentially reignite the DC Justice League movie universe? Sean, maybe. Maybe not, because I don't even know if Zach's going to be involved in any future projects. I mean, I have no idea. Because, if they do, or if they're trying to revive it, they're probably going to go with completely different showrunners. So, I don't know who their Kevin is going to be, in the DCEU, universe. But, if it does go well, maybe. Honestly, guys, I didn't have a problem with their last Batman. Like, I kind of feel like there was nothing wrong with the characters that were cast. It was more of the story that I had an issue with. But again, that's more of a director and writer problem. So let's see here. If the CW brought back Swamp Thing for season 2, I'd like to see Zatara and on Jason Blood and maybe an appearance by Constantine. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I think Constantine's good to go anywhere because they all shoot in Vancouver except for Black Lightning. They're in Atlanta. So, everybody can go. I'm sure it's literally, right next door. They can just go next door to their soundstage. So, he can really make a guest appearance on anybody's series. And the same day he's shooting, Legends of Tomorrow. And it will be easy. So, he is a character I'm not too worried about right now. But, yeah, having, Satara... I kind of do agree, though. You would have to do Satara, you'd have to do Zatanna, you'd have to do all of these characters right if you're going to incorporate them in the Arrowverse world. And honestly, I don't know if that is possible unless you had a die-hard, fan of these characters. And I'm not seeing that except for in Black Lightning, which Black Lightning I think is done pretty well. I actually like Black Lightning a lot. Yes, they take liberties, but... what show doesn't? But for the most part, I love the Pierce family. I love who they cast as Black Lightning. I love who, if you really look across the board, even their villains are cool. It's just a different feel, a darker feel. It's almost like, to me, Freeland feels like the way Gotham should feel in Batwoman. But Gotham just seems very, clean to me for a city that has, low, or not even low, they have a lot of people that can't find housing, a lot of people that property has been destroyed since Batman disappeared, and crime is over the top and out of the window, and that's why they have the crows. But you have the rich side, and then you have the really crappy side, which is, to me, I feel is downtown Gotham, but it looks very clean. It's it's very pristine for a very ravaged city. So I do think that Freeland would have been the same setup for Gotham. Maybe if they shot in Atlanta, probably would have been a lot better than Vancouver, which I think is one of the cleanest cities in the world. Just saying. Sean, I got you, girl. Thanks, Sean. I think there'd be a decent CW Justice League Dark. Maybe bring Roy in as Winter Soldier. Yeah. Red Arrow, not Winter Soldier. I saw what you did there. Like I said, everything has potential. You just got to get the right people to do it. It's literally the right showrunners and writers that will make and break your show. So they got the right people. I could absolutely see them pulling it off. but it's getting the right people that is the problem. And CW has a very shady track record of doing that. In terms of mentors, I can see Jason Blood, Etrian, John Constantine, or even Lucifer Morningstar for Eddie Bloomberg. Okay. You should write up like a pilot and send it to the CW, but make sure you copyright it and say, this is what I think you should do, and see what happens. Let's see. I don't know much of Kid Devil. It seems intriguing, though. Yeah, I'm not... Like I said, I've forgotten a lot of characters. The one thing I do love about comics is there's somebody to always relate to, but there are so many characters, and it's across the board. And I love so many different universes and different comic books that I can't just say I'm a DC girl, I'm an Image girl, I'm a Marvel girl, there's always going to be those third party companies. There's always independent comics, Dark Lily and what's her name? Shuri of the Nile, I think the name of the comic is. I can't remember who did it, but those are really good comics, but it's not something you would see mainstream. That might be something that we would probably see Netflix or Hulu or Prime do a series about, kind of like Lock and Key and things like that. But yeah, there's so many characters that, sometimes somebody will ask me something and I'm like, I'm going to sound like a noob because I don't remember. I'm just don't. I can go back and talk about the Phalanx series in X-Men, which I know a lot of people were very pro that miniseries when everybody was being infected by the alien organism that is the Phalanx, which kind of reminded me a lot of Alien, the Borg, and things like that. That was one of my favorite miniseries. But if you ask me who everyone was that got infected, couldn't tell you. I'm because I don't remember. I have to go back and read it. So much stuff has happened. There's too many writers, too many perspectives. I'm loving what they did with Daredevil. They revamped it again. He's no longer mayor. I love the run where he was trying to find himself, playing chess with Reed Richards. I love everything about that series, but now they're redoing it again. So I'm it's always, there's so many universes. You just can't keep up with them all. And if you're like Nicholas and you have a photographic memory, I am proud of you. I don't have that many file cabinets in my brain. Let's see here. Oh, we got a lot. Sorry, some of these are really long, so I'm trying to get through them and summarize them. And I'm going to be leaving in about 8 minutes, so I'm going to see if I can get through these. Let's see. In terms of mentor, okay, with that one, good point. I just read to see what we were thinking on similar terms earlier. I don't know much of Ken Devil, read that one. I really wish that could bring back, at the very least, reintroduce Robert Bobby Barnes, Wonder Boy in the DC Comics, since it would not only diversify the Amazons, but also have a new demigod. That would be very cool. I really wish, I think we talked about this in my last stream, I always wish that they paid a little bit more homage to some of the characters they currently have, in their background stories. For instance, I harp on Martian Manhunter a lot because Martian Manhunter, I love. I think he is a very powerful character in the DC universe. Not just because he makes really cool choices, like the fact that he's portrayed himself not only in the comics but in Supergirl. He portrays himself as black, and the reason he gives it is he's the last member of his race, and he wants to go and pay basically homage to one of the most struggling races on the planet, and that's why he chose to be black. He could have transformed him basically shifted himself into anything, and he chose to do that. That's fine. They keep the morals of him. They keep, how the actor portrays Martian Manhunter does not, that's not John to me. I get that. He actually could be John coming off the page of the comics. The problem I have, Martian Manhunter does not need to be near you to mess you up. My favorite comic book moment of all time with Martian Manhunter is when Lex Luthor was doing a speech while he was running for president. Martian Manhunter was in space in Watchtower, looking at his freaking monitor, did not like what Lex Luthor was saying, and took over his mind from Watchtower in space and started basically puppeting him and saying what he thought Lex Luthor should be saying. That is how cool Martian Manhunter is. They don't give him that respect in Supergirl. I do not know why. He's not weak, but he is not what he is in the comic world. And that, I think, bothers me. And they do this a lot with characters. They build up characters that were not as impressive, because let's be real, Oliver Queen is cool. He's a good fighter. He's a good survivalist. He's a good archer. But he is not at the level that they build Batman to be and some of the other DC characters that don't have powers. If Lady Shiva had been introduced in the Arrowverse, Oliver would have beat the crap out of her, and then I would have called BS and stopped watching the show, because there's no universe alive where Green Arrow can take on Lady Shiva. It just doesn't happen. So it's stuff like that that is interesting to me. And I just wish they played more homage to it. Like, I wish that Grace Choi was the Amazonian she's supposed to be, and not this shapeshifter that can control her stuff and who has PTSD. I don't know why. I think that if I'm going to talk about something negative about Black Lightning, that's probably one of the things that really bothers me the most. And the fact that how they make Lynn kind of wishy-washy a little bit. Like, one minute she's pro Black Lightning, the next she's complaining about everything. Lynn actually got on my nerves a lot in this last season. Even though I love her character and I love how brilliant she is, she sometimes gets on my nerves. So, it's stuff like that that bothers me. But, yeah, soapbox and comics. I want to see Constantine on Black Lightning. I don't care how they shoehorn it. I want to see that now. Imagine him, Jefferson Nisa, and Gamby in the room. Yeah, that would be hilarious. Let's see. All right. So we're talking about Wonder Woman's twin. Okay, what do you think of the new JSA on Stargirl? Okay, so I'm not, because we've only had one flashback so far, unless you're talking about the kids. I don't really have an opinion yet. I am curious to see if they, kept Ship as Jay Garrick, or if they have somebody else playing Jay. The guy in the poster looks really young, though. But that doesn't mean anything. I've seen plenty of times where we saw a picture of a character, but then they cast the character later on and it's somebody completely different. So I don't know if they're going to go and let, John Wesley Shipp be Jay Garrick's, or if, I guess it would be kind of hard because of Crisis, because he sacrificed himself. So I guess if you sacrifice yourself and die in Crisis, you don't come back like Oliver, but it would be nice to see, another variation of Jay still played by Ship. I think that would be very cool. But yeah, I mean, if we're talking about the kids, so far, I like the girl who plays Yolanda. Her story was really sad. I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't seen it, but I will say this. I don't like her family. I think her family is trash on the show. I think her mother and her father are trash. Her brother is sweet. He's very supportive. It looked like the grandmother wanted to say something, but the mother and father are just trash. They are very bad people, in my opinion, because you don't treat your child like that. So, have a problem with that. But yeah, I mean, the girl that plays Beth looks adorable. I mean, they all look cool. Rick looks cool. I don't see a problem with the new JSA. I don't know how many JSA members are going to incorporate next season, because I'm pretty sure they'll get a season 2. But for the most part, these 4 are pretty cool. So I'm liking the younger JSA, even though right now we just got Wildcat. We haven't gotten Our Man and we haven't gotten Dr. Midnight. That probably is going to be next week. But yeah, I'm so far on board with the JSA. Okay. Bye, Shariji. I think you're having to leave. Or you're talking about I'm leaving. Because I am in like 3 minutes. I heard Miles Morales, Spider-Verse actress, also made problematic statements. Yeah. I don't know what's wrong. People should realize that everything that you say in the media can be construed whatever way. If it had been said on like TV, like an interview on TV or something like that, then you could say they might have edited it and then taken it out of context. But if you do it on your social media, you wrote that. So that's, unfortunately, you can't take that stuff back. So yeah, he's been pretty problematic. I mean, a lot of people have been very problematic. But let's be fair. If we went back in time, like in the 90s, and started really reading some of our actors' stuff, and they had access to Twitter and stuff at that time, I bet you'd be shocked by some of the stuff that you would read. I used to be a very big Denzel Washington fan, and I'll probably get a little controversial hate for this, but I don't support him anymore because of his views on, homosexuality and LGBT community. Being that I'm in an LGBT marriage and I'm queer, he's basically thinking, his mode of thinking is I am unnatural and I should not exist. So that pretty much means that one of my favorite actors now is no longer somebody I care about. I'm not the kind of person that's going to say all your movies suck because you suck. I am smart enough and intelligent enough to separate you from the characters you play. But as an actor, I don't support him anymore. Like, as in terms of him getting awards, of him, whatever. I just don't. Even if he deserves it for the role he's in, because he doesn't support people like me. So why should I go out of my way to support someone like you? And that's how I feel about that. So people say very controversial and hateful stuff. What will break my heart is if Sidney Poitier thinks that way, because I grew up with that, watching movies that he was in. I love him so much. So that will break my heart. But, it is what it is. I mean, I've been seeing look at our society now with Kevin Spacey in the Me Too movement. I had no idea that he was accused of sexually harassing women and all kinds of stuff, being inappropriate with women. I mean, looking at him in the past, he's just a very talented actor, and you liked him and you resonated and you love watching him in interviews. And then the real him comes out, or what they say the real him is, and then you're like, wow, you really don't know. That's the thing. We don't know who thinks what. We don't. Some of the people that are supporting the Black Lives Matter movement could be full of crap. And it could be they're only doing it because they don't want to be one of the ones that are accused of being racist and being accused of not supporting the cause. Because how bad would that look for your platform if you're one of the others? You're one of the people that doesn't support the movement. So it's just, I always look at it this way. People are people. And they let you know who they are at some point, and that's just what it is. Celebrities are a little harder, but eventually things come out. Let's see here. Okay. I think I read that one wrong. Hold on. Make sure I got this right. Maria, you wasn't the only one that was having issues with Lynn Stewart, because seriously, from the get-go, she was so wishy-washy. Okay, yeah, I made sure I was reading that right. And once things were being laid out for her, she doesn't want to listen. Yes, she's so, and she would get mad at Jefferson for, making deals behind her back, and she was doing it all the flipping time. I'm like, come on, Lynn, I love you, but don't be a hypocrite. I don't know. But again, Lynn suffers from the writing problem, too. She just does, because she's a very good actress. She can play the hell out of that role. They just need to give her material that's a little bit more supportive, but still keeping her, because she's a scientist. She is. She's a mother, she's a wife, and she's a scientist. There were 3 different, very powerful roles that she could be really fully adapted into in a script. But they choose to keep her as this scientist that's so into being a scientist that she'll even experiment on herself, and she'll sacrifice everything and nobody can tell her anything. They don't know she's completely strung out on green light, It's just, which really isn't her fault, but it's just, they are not doing her a service at all, writing her as wishy-washy. They really aren't. She is a much stronger character than that. They need to stop. Hell, she didn't care when her own daughter, Anissa Melinda Pierce, said that she nearly died fighting Khalil, but just brushed her off for that glimmering green light because she's hooked. I mean, I hate to be that way. I can't blame her for that, because they got her hooked on it. It wasn't like she picked it up. They dosed her without her knowledge. And so they got her completely sprung. I mean, green light's supposed to be stronger than heroin. So, yeah. But she was wishy-washy before that. But at least she did give a crap about her children. Let's see. Right, exactly. I haven't cared for her character treatment the last two seasons, and yes, Wildcat's parents are trash. Yep, that bothered the blue devil out of me. I like what you did there too. But yeah, I was so annoyed at that. I was like, really? I mean, and then the person that caused her issues, walking around not having any of these issues, the ex-boyfriend's not having any of these issues, she's being punished. You know what I mean? In so many ways. And it's sad. I mean, she's a strong person because, honestly, she didn't even want to be herself. That sounds like suicide talk to me. Her family is weak. If she would have killed herself, they would have never gotten over that, and it would have been partly their fault. So, but when you have really weak parents like Wildcat is, you have to be stronger. And I think that's going to be the key there. Her father, I wanted to smack more than the mother. The mother is just extremely weak and submissive. You could see that. But that father reminds me of, so I don't have a really good relationship with my dad. And the way Yolanda's father is the way my father is. And that's the way my father talks to me. So that's why we don't talk to each other. So that's why I can see it. That is actually a form of verbal abuse, and what he's doing to her is not right. And so she's going to have lots of issues. But hey, like I said, life imitates art. So maybe one of the writers was like, hey, let's put my personal story in a twist for that. Because I don't remember if Yolanda had parents like that. I don't remember that at all. But they're messed up. And to be fair, Wildcat was an adult when she got her powers from Ted Grant. Took over the reins from Ted Grant. So, so was Beth. So was Rick. So they weren't teenagers. So, yeah. Whole other story. As a matter of fact, I love that Beth was the actual one that was the doctor. So, like, her mother, like Beth's mother in Stargirl, actually, I thought was initially going to be Dr. Midnight, because that's what Dr. Midnight was prior to becoming Dr. Midnight. She was a doctor. And so I was like, that was a perfect, I guess maybe they put that in there to kind of show homage to that. Like, yeah, this is what Beth was, and maybe that's what Beth will be in the future. But yeah, I really thought that's what they were going to do originally. But yeah, I know they're doing a younger audience. Okay. Let's see. Do you remember when? Oh, okay, here we go. All right. Cutting it close here, guys, because I love you. Since the start of season 2, she really has been getting on my everlasting nerves. Same. I mean, Odell literally told you that what he was about in the start of season 2, and what he was going to do with the green light of Medikids, and she thought that they had a choice. Yeah. Lynn is brilliant, but apparently has no common sense. I don't know. I didn't know that was his stance. That's sad to hear. Sidney Poitier is safe at the best of my recollection. Okay, Sidney Poitier is the better actor anyway, so I love. One of the best Sidney Poitier movies of all time to me is To Sir with Love. Love that movie. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner was good too, but To Sir with Love, very good movie. I feel the same way about Chloe Bennett. I cannot watch her stuff since she dated Logan Paul and protected him despite his factual history of making racist statements towards Asians. Really? I did not know that. I knew he was a butthole. I knew that whole thing in Japan where they were like making fun of people hanging themselves in the suicide forest was pretty messed up. I just did not realize. Let's see here. He makes racist statements towards Asians and everybody else, I guess, with Logan Paul. That's so sad. I don't know. I think Logan Paul's a jerk anyway. So, I mean, he's one of those entitled butts that you want to just kick the crap out of just on principle without him saying anything. I can't even, if there's no turnaround for season 4, I'm over her. Like, bring in a new Lynn who's actually Jon Stewart's sister. Yes! Okay, so, and technically, I don't remember if they ever 100% in the comic books even said that was canon, but it's always been implied that Lynn was Jon's sister, and that's why she had a problem with, Jefferson being Black Lightning, because she lived a life of worrying about her brother, and she didn't want to have to do it in her marriage, which would have been an awesome way of segueing that. But because they don't have, I guess we could find out that Diggle is also Green Lantern on another Earth, because there was, you remember, was it in Elseworlds? It was one of the crossovers when somebody said, "Where's your ring?" to Diggle. So, I mean, maybe her brother was the Green Lantern. Once they establish him as Green Lantern, that could be a thing that comes up in the future over, and Black Lightning. I think that would be awesome. But yeah, they should do something about Lynn. Lynn needs some rehab. Let's see. I can't even stand her face. You can date who you want, but when your lover does wrong, you can't argue otherwise. Did anyone see the technopath dude from Black Lightning walking in the hallway in the week's episode of Stargirl? I don't know. Probably not. I'm pretty observant, but I do miss a lot. So now no, I actually don't. I'll have to go back and look at that. I never knew Chloe Bennett dated him, let her alone out the side. That chat is conflicting me. We're sorry, Geronimo. We don't mean to bring the realness. I didn't know Chloe Bennett was dating him either, because I wouldn't date his butt. He looks like an idiot. Geronimo, honey, trust me, that wasn't even half of it. Oh boy. I thought he looked like TC. But he's white, so of course she's fine with it. White is right to them and the colonizer groups. Yeah, I know. Colonizers are going to be... It's hard. It's so hard. Like, I'm half white. I'm half European white. But unfortunately, the Europeans are the ones that started the colonizing. So that in Spain, they weren't really nice either at the time. But there's no excuse for... If you have entitlement, at least understanding you have it is part of the cure, in my opinion. If you don't think that you're entitled, just, if you don't think that you can drive anywhere in the world, or in the country, should I say, and not be pulled over and asked why you're in a car and ask where you're going and ask millions of questions, and you haven't even done anything, not even speeding, then you are potentially part of the problem. You need to see that is a thing. Like I said, my skin color has saved me from experiencing more of my black side, because my dad is very dark. When me and my dad were out together, people never thought he was my father at all. They didn't know why I was with him. So I kind of passed, even I wasn't trying to. I've never not said I wasn't. I've never not claimed my blackness, but like, they just don't see it. And so, but again, I do get a lot of racist Hispanic comments and Filipino. Like, I get Filipino all the time. I'm always mistaken for Puerto Rican, Mexican, or Filipino all the time. So I get a lot of racism on that front. Like, I get lots of, when are you leaving? When are you going back home? Get over the wall, stuff like that. So I do get that a lot. I get the wrong racism. It's still disgusting, but I get the wrong racism. Okay. I was so shocked and happy at first. I was like, can we be Jakeem, but not too old to be Mike's friend from school? It's Kennedy said now that was literally what she said in a panel, that she's been through it with him and his new corp. Okay. Common sense is a dime a dozen in Star City. It's even rare. Central City, it seems like they own the place that has common sense is in Freeland, or has the most abundance of it, but it just never got around. Yeah, Lynn seems to be the only one that has no common sense in Freeland, honestly. I will say this, Black Lightning has a very high resurrection rate. Everybody that dies eventually comes back. It's like Walking Dead with superheroes. Let's see. Well, it's another universe from Arrow, so they can easily have Arrow's Diggle play Jon Stewart on Black Lightning, and it would be cool. Yep, I agree with that, Serenity. Let's not forget China. China had most of Asia for a long time. Japan, Korea, the Philippines, etc., etc. Yeah, well, let's think about Asian countries. Everybody invaded each other. Japan was not nice to a lot of people. Japan and Korea, invade Korea. It's not nice. I've seen documentaries about, the comfort women and things like it's just throughout history, human beings have been pretty freaking disgusting with each other. So yeah, colonizing is never fun. It's never a thing. Conquering another society just because you can is not fun. Don't get me started on my Native American part. I mean, they're still not on the platform. Just not. It's sad that with Standing Rock, you have people fighting to keep the, corporations from putting a pipeline under their reservation and trying to preserve the water. But if you had looked at the water, it was already brown to begin with. So these people were living off dirty water that they were trying to protect, and then you added oil to it. So, I mean, if you really think about it, it's we're messed up people. As a whole, human beings are probably the most dangerous, entities on this planet. And it's really sad, but what can we do except try to be better people? Some of us anyway. Okay. Okay, no, because they literally made him into a yes man and then devoid of all common sense. I mean, he constantly brushing his family to the side and the drop of the caters to Felicity. Oliver, yes. Well, Oliver is like Goku. Goku doesn't realize he's married to Chi-Chi and has kids. He's just like, what? Oh, you're still here? Like, Goku's a bad husband and a despicable father. He's nobody's, he is no one's role model. I always thought you were Latina with some First Nation. I never thought Black. Well, hello, sister, either way. Hello, Serenity. Nice to meet you. I did my 23andMe. I have 6%, I think it's 6%, like Latina Hispanic heritage, but they couldn't tell me from where. When they broke it down, they were like all 0%. They couldn't tell me where it came from. But let me throw one out for you. I have 8% Asian. 3% of me is Chinese from Jamaica, right? So St. Elizabeth Parish apparently has a huge Chinese population, and they've traced my Chinese ancestry to Jamaica. Do you know how angry I was? I wasn't Caribbean. I was like, are you flipping kidding me right now? I'm like, I would go to this beautiful island that's full of Black people, and I'm Chinese. But yeah, struggle is real. But hey, Chinese is cool too. But yeah, most people think that I'm Latina, Hispanic, Filipino. Like, I get a lot of Filipino people that think I'm Filipino, which is fair. It's Asian mixed with Hispanic lineage, so it kind of makes sense. Latin lineage. Let's see. In the words of Tobias, well, it only takes a quick meal to resurrect a person. It really is true. I mean, everybody in Freeland, if you die, you're coming back. I don't care what anybody says, you're coming back. Hopefully in the near future we get to see JJ Thunder. That would be cool, because I would love to see how they pull that off, because his electricity has a magic aspect to it, since he literally has an electrical genie. I love that you brought up electrical. I was watching Stargirl last night, and I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't seen it, but I was thinking about the Thunderbolt, and I'm like, oh, did you really put the pen in there? I'm like, you idiot. Courtney. Let's see here. Humans are a cancer upon Mother Earth. Hashtag mutant and proud. Good for you, Serenity. Mutant and proud. Hashtag living on Krakoa. I need to learn Krakoan. That actually seems fascinating, but I'm learning Korean right now, so I think it'll mess with me. All right, it's 2:47, so 13 minutes I have my meeting, so I can give you guys another 2 minutes. So overall, this has been a pretty good stream. I love that we have so many different personalities, so many different, perspectives. I always love doing these live streams, especially since what I really love is I don't have to keep coming up with stuff to talk about when we have a subject. You guys help me out a lot. So happy about that. But yeah, as for our original content, our original question on the channel, on the live stream, Danielle Panabaker being a racist, until I see proof, indisputable, proof that she said these racist things, like somebody produces these tweets or somebody from behind the scenes says it, I can't 100% get on board with firing someone for being racist. Do I think there is a problem in the CW? Yes. Do I think there's a problem probably even on the Flash set? Probably. I mean, they worked with each other for 6 years. I mean, after a while, people start to not want to work with each other anymore. Maybe they got cabin fever, whatever. But there are some things that Danielle should have done. I do agree. She should have defended Candace when she was initially cast, had her back, made it be known that she supported the actress. She probably shouldn't have pushed the Snowberry agenda, because again, Snowberry, West Allen, all that stuff's toxic. She should have never got on board with that. Is that her fault? She could have been naive. Probably not. But I look at it as somebody who's done voiceover, somebody who's been in positions where I had to talk to people at panels. You do not want to spread something that will come back to bite you in the butt, especially if it's based on ignorance. And she's ignorant of ships. She was ignorant of fandoms. Honestly, I think this is the largest fan following she's ever had, and she doesn't know how to act, and it went to her head a little bit. So her pro Snowberry comments and, wanting her and Barry to get together, 100% in line with the agenda of the Snowberry people, the racist, toxic part of her group, and they attacked Candace Patton. Not to say that West Allen people did not attack her. I gotta play favorite or fair. I can't play favorites with this. There are a lot of West Allen people that are toxic too. So Snowberry versus West Allen is just Harry Hermione versus Harry Ginny. It's toxic as hell. So however you want to put it, it's what it is. But yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen from now. I don't think she's gonna get fired. I really don't. But I can't say that for sure because we are in 2020 cancel culture, so who knows. But yeah, I am off to go suffer now. You guys have been very cool, and keep posting questions below. Please, please, please. I love it. I will definitely try and answer all of them. I'm going to go sit in my Zoom chat and talk about stuff I don't want to talk about now. So have a good day, guys. Have a good day. I think I said have a good day. Have a good day, guys. And I will be posting, if I don't post the Snowberry, Stargirl video tonight, it will definitely be in the morning. But I am filming it tonight. And I also am going to be uploading Jam's video, one of my co-hosts. She did a review of Streets of Rage 4, a video game she's in love with. So I will be posting that probably in the next couple of hours after my wonderful Zoom meeting. Have a good day. Bye, guys.